Chris Gabehart says, I'm swinging for the fences. I'm going to put a piece of 10-inch tape on your car.
The
And
infamous tape.
it blew the engine up. And it's like,
Oh.
those are ones that I have to live with it. I can't change that.
Denny Hamlin has done almost everything a NASCAR driver can dream of, except win the one title that defines a legacy. 60 career victories, 3 Daytona 500s, and years of dominance. Yet the championship has always slipped away. Fans call it fate, others call it a curse. But now, just days before his next shot at glory in Phoenix, Hamlin has finally spoken out. In a rare moment of reflection, the Joe Gibbs racing star addressed the so-called championship curse that's followed him for more than a decade. And to see why Hamlin's words matter, you first have to understand the pattern that's haunted him for years. Denny Hamlin isn't just a top-tier driver, he's a fixture of the sport. From Daytona to Darlington, he's conquered nearly every challenge NASCAR has thrown at him. But the title? That remains elusive. For many fans, it's baffling. How can someone this good, this consistent, this dominant, keep coming up short? Heading into Martinsville 2025, Hamlin didn't have to stress. Thanks to his win in Las Vegas, he had already secured his place in the Championship 4. It was his 60th career win, another reminder of his excellence. But even with that victory, there was an underlying tension. The playoffs are about one thing: winning the title. Hamlin has come close multiple times, most painfully in 2019, when a late race mistake and strategic missteps allowed teammate Kyle Busch to snatch the title from his grasp. That loss, more than any other, still lingers. I had them right here, and I let them go, Hamlin admitted, speaking candidly about that crushing defeat. But time has given him perspective.
Than it was early in my career, such as 2010, where it's like, man, I had them right here, and I let them go.
I have to live with it. I can't change that, Hamlin reflected after his Las Vegas win. At the end of my career, it's been far more of the I'm okay with the result because I did the best I could than it was early in my career.
Those are ones that I have to live with it. I can't change that. And I feel like at the end of my career, it's been far more of the I'm okay with the result because I did the best I could.
Mm-hmm.
This is a different Denny Hamlin than the one fans saw years ago, one who wore every near miss like a scar. Now he's focused on execution, not drama, not what-ifs, just performance. I just hope that I leave Phoenix knowing that I did the best that I could do. There's nothing I could have done different, and I think I'm still going to be very gratified with whatever result that is.
I just hope that I leave Phoenix knowing that I did the best that I could do. There's nothing I could have done different, and I think I'm still going to be very.
That might sound like acceptance, but don't mistake calm for complacency. Hamlin is hungry, and for the first time in a while, he's letting the results take care of themselves. But even with his new outlook, fate had one more cruel twist in store.
11 running really, really good. You see the engine just lay down, smoke out the pipes, and this has been this concern, right? The 11 has a throttle issue at Talladega, a starter issue here. Now it blows up in the race. So you see the frustration for Denny Hamlin. He knows next week he has a chance to win his first championship.
At Martinsville, Hamlin's race ended abruptly in Stage 3. From second place, his number. 11 Toyota simply shut down. No warning, no noise, just silence. An engine issue, his third mechanical DNF of the season. Obviously something major, mechanical, Hamlin said. The engine simply shut all the way off. It was eerily similar to what happened to teammate Chase Briscoe earlier in the same race, and with Phoenix looming, the timing couldn't have been worse. Still, Hamlin stayed composed. I could be worried, but I can't do anything about it. So, I'm still optimistic. We're going to put our best foot forward. To some, Hamlin's string of misfortune is evidence of a curse, a cosmic joke at the expense of a generational talent. But Hamlin isn't buying into that narrative. He's not ignoring the setbacks. He just refuses to be defined by them. Our performance is good. We're up front. As long as we can keep it together, we're fast and capable, he emphasized. Come one, come all. I think I'm going to have to win next week if I'm going to win the championship. This is a driver who has nothing left to prove except the one thing he's never had: All eyes now turn to Phoenix. For Hamlin, it's more than just another race, it's possibly his last best chance to finally silence the doubters, the fans, the media, and maybe even himself. There's pressure. That much is clear. But it's different now. It's not about chasing something to validate his greatness. It's about closing a chapter with no regrets. Hamlin knows he's already cemented his legacy. He's an elite driver, a savvy team owner, and a staple of NASCAR's modern era. A championship would be the crowning achievement, but not having one doesn't erase everything he's done. Still, he wants it, badly. This year, Hamlin has shown that he's still at the top of his game. His win in Las Vegas wasn't just another stat, it was a statement. He's not slowing down, and as a team owner at 2311 Racing, he's balancing two roles, mentor and competitor. He's become more strategic, more composed, and more dangerous than ever. At Phoenix, that combination might finally pay off. In recent years, Hamlin has embraced his role as NASCAR's villain, leaning into the boos and criticism. But beneath the persona is a methodical mind, focused on results. He's calculated, not chaotic. And that's what makes him so hard to beat. Even his decision to downplay engine failures and stay optimistic shows growth. Earlier in his career, a setback like Martinsville might have rattled him. Not anymore. His maturity also stems from his dual identity, both as a driver and a co-owner at 2311 Racing. With Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick under his wing, Hamlin has added another layer of responsibility and, in doing so, has grown even more centered. What's on the line isn't just a championship, it's legacy. NASCAR history remembers champions differently, and Hamlin knows this. A win at Phoenix would reshape how fans talk about him for years to come. Instead of being the best to never win, he'd finally be on that exclusive list of drivers who sealed the deal. He's battled against legends. He's endured changes in the sport, rule overhauls, new generations of competitors. Through it all, he's stayed relevant. That says everything. Hamlin also plays a crucial role in NASCAR's evolving culture. He bridges generations, an old-school racer with a new-school mindset. His social media presence, business ventures, and outspoken nature have made him a polarizing figure, but one that keeps the sport in the headlines. If he does win at Phoenix, it's more than personal validation, it becomes a celebration of endurance. A championship would be the perfect exclamation point on a career built on consistency and fire. Racing at this level is as much mental as it is mechanical, and Hamlin seems to have mastered that balance. He's not dwelling on the past. He's not shaken by bad luck. He's focused. "I'm going to come prepared," he said. "Hopefully it's enough." He knows that all it takes is one perfect day, one clean race, one moment of opportunity, and everything could change. Hamlin's career has also shown a remarkable evolution in leadership. Behind the scenes, he's one of the most respected minds in the garage. Drivers lean on him for insight, and his business acumen is shaping the future of NASCAR through his ownership at 2311 Racing. This story isn't just about a man chasing a trophy. It's about resilience, perseverance, reinvention. Hamlin represents the veteran who refuses to fold, who keeps coming back year after year, even when the sport moves on. He's a reminder that greatness isn't always defined by championships. It's defined by the fight to earn one. And now, as Phoenix approaches, fans around the world wonder if this is the year it finally all comes together. Denny Hamlin has broken his silence. He's spoken his truth. And now, the next chapter will be written at Phoenix. Will the curse continue, or will one of the most talented drivers in NASCAR history finally have his crowning moment? The fans are watching, the critics are waiting, and Hamlin, he's just getting ready. Because whether it's fate or fire that fuels him next Sunday, one thing is clear. Denny Hamlin is coming to Phoenix not just to compete, but to finish what he started. Bubba Wallace has spent his entire career in the spotlight, and not always for the reasons he'd like. Few drivers in NASCAR face as much scrutiny, pressure, or attention as he does. His story is filled with massive highs, heated controversies, and moments that shook the sport. And now, it's happened again. Another fine, another headline. But this time, the story runs deeper. To understand why this moment matters, we have to look at how Bubba got here and what it really says about NASCAR today. Born the 8th of October 1993 in Mobile, Alabama, William Darrell Wallace Jr., better known as Bubba, got his first taste of speed as a kid. His family moved to Concord, North Carolina, not far from the heart of NASCAR territory. Go-karts, dirt bikes, local late models, every race early on pointed toward one thing. This was his calling. But the path wasn't easy. As a teenage African-American driver in a deeply traditional, mostly white sport rooted in the South, he faced hurdles no one taught him how to navigate: disqualifications, slurs from fans, officials overlooking him. His mother sat him down and said what became a mantra: "You don't fight them physically, you get them back by winning." That mindset powered him. In 2010, at just 16, he entered the NASCAR Driver for Diversity program, then the developmental pipeline for talent from underrepresented backgrounds. He scored his first major win in the K&N East Series at Greenville-Pickens Speedway, making him the youngest winner in series history at that point. His rookie campaign also brought him Rookie of the Year honors, historic because he was the first African-American driver to claim a NASCAR-sanctioned rookie award in the series' 60-year history. Signed by Joe Gibbs Racing as a development driver, he moved from bandoleros to legends to late models to trucks, blazing through the ranks. By age 19, he was full-time in the Truck Series, only the fourth African-American to race full-time at that level. He flashed speed and raw talent, wins, strong finishes, the kind of rare combination this sport pays attention to. Then came the Cup Series. In 2018, he secured a full-time ride in the Cup for Richard Petty Motorsports, driving the iconic No. 43, making him the first African-American driver in the Cup full-time since 1971. In his very first Daytona 500, he nearly pulled off a miracle, third in the duel, narrowly beaten in the final seconds. The emotion? Immense. But the rookie year that followed was brutal. Crashes, DNFs, frustration. He finished 28th in the standings, average finish hovering in the mid-20 seconds. The contrast between his raw talent and inconsistent results became the narrative. In 2019, things didn't move much, despite a signature moment helping Kyle Busch at Watkins Glen that earned him respect. Still, performance lagged. And then 2020 exploded into a completely different kind of year. The sport changed, the wider culture changed. Bubba found himself at the center of it. After NASCAR banned the Confederate flag from tracks and properties, Bubba ran a Black Lives Matter paint scheme at Martinsville. 11 days later at Talladega, a noose was found in his garage stall. The FBI later confirmed the rope had been there since the previous fall, but the moment became a symbol: Bubba Wallace. Spotlighted not just as a driver, but as an emblem of change. That moment elevated him. It also made him a lightning rod. Critics accused him of playing the victim. Supporters saw courage. Whether you loved him or didn't, you couldn't ignore him. He got a big break when NBA legend Michael Jordan and Kyle Busch teamed up to launch 23XI Racing, and Bubba was chosen to run the No. 23. The move added more pressure, more expectation, but the equipment and opportunity were top tier. Still, wins eluded him. Although he reached a major milestone in 2021 by becoming only the second African-American driver to win a Cup Series race, he did it at Talladega. What followed were more moments beyond his control. Mechanical failures, tough luck, fierce internal and external expectations. Here's where the fine comes in, and why it matters. In July 2024, after the Chicago Street Course race, Wallace intentionally made contact with race winner Alex Bowman during the cool-down lap. NASCAR slapped him with a $50,000 fine for violating sections 4.4, B and D of its member code of conduct. He slammed Bowman into the wall, and the incident was captured live. Wallace responded by calling the fine the best thing to happen to me, admitting he'd spent years carrying a persona he wasn't proud of. "I was frustrated, trying way too hard and not focused on the right things," he said. Some fans saw the fine as overdue discipline. Others believed Wallace was being treated differently for reasons many wouldn't say out loud. Reddit users, for example, pointed to other incidents involving retaliation or contact where fines weren't issued, triggering a debate on consistency. But then, just months later, more trouble. In late 2024, after the Martinsville playoff race, Wallace and his team were involved in a race manipulation investigation. He was fined $100,000, docked 50 driver points, and the team was similarly penalized when it was determined he'd slowed down to help a teammate try to make the championship 4. The combination of off-track legal wrangling, huge fines, and results that improved yet still fell short skyrocketed his profile, and his critics. So yes, Bubba Wallace was fined again. This time not just for contact or retaliation, but for something much deeper: the integrity of competition. This isn't over. The fine is a statement from NASCAR. You'll be held accountable. And for Wallace, it's a crossroads. And what's important to understand is that this moment didn't happen in a vacuum. Wallace's 2025 campaign has been one of incredible consistency and focus. Week after week, he's turned in strong runs, especially on intermediate tracks, often outrunning major contenders. His average finish is among the best of his career. Crew Chief Booty Barker even noted that the team's communication and execution have never been tighter. He's qualifying better, racing smarter, and avoiding the kind of mid-race mistakes that once held him back. He's also stayed incredibly composed despite provocations on the track, something Wallace himself attributes to becoming a father in 2024. He told reporters that fatherhood changed his mindset, gave him purpose beyond the track, and taught him to channel frustration more constructively. Why does this matter right now? Because in 2025, amid one of his strongest seasons yet, Wallace is still chasing that breakthrough moment. Consistent top fives across track types. A new child born in 2024, shifting his priorities and sharpening his focus. But no win yet since 2022. Some fans deny he has cup-level talent. Others believe he's one race away from changing that perception entirely. Which brings us back to the headline, massive fine. And the big question, what's next? Does the penalty hurt him, motivate him, or both? His response suggests it pushed him. He admitted the incident, and the fine forced him to re-examine how he behaves on and off the track, how the public sees him, how the team sees him, how he sees himself. Now he's focused on redemption. In closing, if you're watching one driver to keep an eye on, watch Bubba Wallace. Not just for what he does under green, but for how he reacts when the spotlight is on. He's been misunderstood. He's been criticized. He's had to fight more than the car, more than the laps. But the fine? It's just a pit stop. The race and the redemption are still ahead. If you like this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because Bubba Wallace's story isn't over, it's just getting started.
Thank you so much. In a very humble approach, Shane Van Gisbergen answered all the questions and said, I'm not necessarily going to be granted a win in this race, but he's got the win. Been for Ross Chastain, and another win for Shane Van Gisbergen.
Shane Van Gisbergen crossed the finish line first, but what he really did was rewrite NASCAR history. It wasn't just another win. It wasn't even just another road course victory. It was a moment that changed how the sport views its international drivers, and more importantly, how it views Van Gisbergen himself. Going into the Charlotte Roval, the stakes couldn't have been higher. This wasn't just another weekend, it was the round of 12 playoff cutoff, where every single lap mattered. Ross Chastain came in holding on to one of the final playoff spots by the slimmest of margins. Joey Logano was right behind, needing a strong performance or a mistake from someone else to sneak through. Shane Van Gisbergen wasn't even in the playoff picture, but he had his own story brewing, one that would unfold over the next few hours in front of a packed grandstand and a national audience.
Ready?
There you have it. Oh, he does. Oh, that is just such a gutsy call, because if we watch the points as he pits, Logano is at +2 on your bottom left. Check this out right here. +2. Well, as Chastain stays on the...
From the start, the race was pure pressure. Chastain knew he couldn't afford a single slip, yet early in the event, that's exactly what happened. On a routine pit stop, he missed the sharp left-hand turn exiting pit lane. It cost him track position and, more importantly, momentum. He dropped 15 spots in one go, and even though he fought his way back up, that single moment would come back to haunt him. Logano, meanwhile, was calculating his every move. His crew chief, Paul Wolfe, took a bold strategy call with 1 laps to go. It wasn't conservative, it wasn't safe, but it gave Logano just enough track position to matter when the final chaos unfolded. And chaos is exactly what came next. As the race tightened and the laps dwindled, the tension on the track thickened. Drivers began to take bigger risks. Aggression ramped up. Then, with the pressure peaking, it happened. Chastain, trying to gain a crucial position, made a move on Denny Hamlin heading into turn 7. It didn't stick, he lost control and spun out. His car lurched backward across the track, losing even more ground. At that exact moment, Logano slipped past, narrowly avoiding disaster and barely clinging to playoff hopes. While all of that unfolded, Van Gisbergen was in another world. Not disconnected, but calm, focused. He didn't make mistakes. He didn't flinch. He stayed ahead of the chaos and built a lead that wasn't just impressive, it was dominant. By the time he crossed the line, he was more than 15 seconds ahead of Kyle Larson. In NASCAR terms, that's a lifetime. But it's not just the margin that made this win special. This victory marked his 5th road course win of the season. Not only that, but it was his 10th win across NASCAR's 3 national series, Cup, Xfinity, and Truck. And that made him the first internationally born driver in history to hit double digits in NASCAR national victories, a milestone that no one else from outside the United States had ever touched. That puts him in a different conversation. What makes this all the more remarkable is how specific his dominance has been. All 10 of his NASCAR wins have come on road and street courses, every single one. In a sport traditionally dominated by oval tracks, Van Gisbergen has carved out a lane of his own. It's not just that he wins, it's how he wins. Technical precision, clean overtakes, no panic. No drama, just execution. But even Van Gisbergen knows the narrative that follows him. He's not hiding from it. Earlier in the season, his performances on ovals were inconsistent at best. He struggled to adapt to the rhythm, the drafting, the constant high-speed balance that defines oval racing. And in his own words, that's where the real work begins. After the Charlotte win, he spoke with clarity. He said that while he loves a good battle, sometimes it's better to win by a large margin. He's been studying, watching, learning from other drivers, and using every weekend as a chance to improve. That kind of self-awareness is rare. He understands that to become a true NASCAR champion, he can't just be great on road courses. He has to be elite everywhere. Superspeedways, short tracks, mile-and-a-halves. That's the challenge. And it's a challenge he's not running from. He's embracing it. Joey Logano, on the other hand, may have escaped Charlotte, but not unscathed. His playoff life was saved by a razor-thin margin. Without Paul Wolf's late race call, he'd be watching the next round from home. And for Ross Chastain, the pain was immediate.